the business owner, like the Asian business owners, Chinese, Korean, I never know like which is which when I'm looking at them or talking to them, but they are in an uproar right now. They are so upset because it is said that their businesses are getting boycotted, that their parking lots are empty, based off of a not guilty verdict that's recently happened prior to this weekend. And there's a lot of people upset, and people are really upset at the Asian community. I have never ever seen an Asian go off before until today. I have never seen a Korea or a Chinese person go off and just go in so hard until I seen it today on TikTok. These people are pissed. Allegedly, one Asian came back and said that we actually need them, that we can't make it without their businesses. They said everything that we buy is made in China, made in Korea, and so on and so on. The guy basically said that we cannot make it without their products. But yet, I don't think that he completely lied. If you go into our stores, 90% of what's on those shelves in the store, made in China. The next time you go to Walmart, Target, or any of those stores, pick up one of those coffee cups, look at the bottom of it, made in China. Your spoons, knife, and fork set, turn it over and look at it, made in China. The next time you go buy a blanket or something, look at the tag on the blanket, made in China. So they are talking, bro, and these people are pissed because they feel like the boycott is really affecting their businesses. And if it's true, and some of the videos I've seen on TikTok today is true, and they're not made up AI videos, it looks like that boycott is taking effect extremely fast. One lady pulled up to 3 of the nail salons, and every last one of them was empty, man. Now, I don't know if those nail salons open on Sunday. She could have been capping and pulled up on a day that they were closed, but it seems to me like those nail salons are open 7 days a week, man. But them Asians is starting to try to clap back, bro. Y'all better be careful. I ain't never seen an Asian go off like I seen today. It's getting crazy out here, y'all. The business owner, like the Asian business owners, Chinese, Korean, I never know like which is which when I'm looking at them or talking to them, but they are in an uproar right now. They are so upset because it is said that their businesses are getting boycotted, that their parking lots are empty, based off of a not guilty verdict that's recently happened prior to this weekend. And there's a lot of people upset, and people are really upset at the Asian community. I have never ever seen an Asian go off before until today. I have never seen a Korea or a Chinese person go off and just go in so hard until I seen it today on TikTok. These people are pissed. Allegedly, one Asian came back and said that we actually need them, that we can't make it without their businesses. They said everything that we buy is made in China, made in Korea, and so on and so on. The guy basically said that we cannot make it without their products. But yet, I don't think that he completely lied. If you go into our stores, 90% of what's on.
So, guys, it's no longer a joke, about the Asian boycott, and this is hitting the Asian community so hard, and they are, you know, coming out and pointing out devastation. They can't hide it anymore on TikTok. It is there. So let's go and watch some of these clips, and we'll come back and analyze the situation.
I saw this thing online of how the black people are not going to these salons or this. They are seriously boycotting these Asian people. We are not funding them anymore. It's empty. Look at this. I thought it was a joke. Ain't nobody in there. Wow. Look at this. They are not playing. Talking all of that shit about the niggas, and the niggas ain't going in there to buy you nothing. Wow, I thought it was a joke, but they are not playing with these Asian people. Ain't nobody in there. Saying they don't need the black dollar. Uh-huh.
Boycotting Asian businesses isn't the primary way to bring about change. Before you come at me, black people, please listen to the rest of this post. But first, I have to address the Asians. Asians, did you know your fear and hatred of black people isn't your own? You've been brainwashed. Well, more accurately, your great-great-great-granddaddy has been brainwashed. But I'll get into that history lesson. First, current statistics. Did you know most violent crimes committed are by people of the same race, meaning white on white crime. Hispanic people against Hispanic people, Black people against Black people, Asians against Asians. The only exception to this are Native Americans. They tend to not go around hurting each other. However, Asians, do you know what the most violent group towards you is race-wise outside of yourselves? It's not Black people. Let me give you a moment. It's white people in the form of hate crimes. So why are you so scared and fearful of Black people then? Well, let me tell you, because your granddaddy wanted to come over here and they said, bet, but you have to work. You have to like own your own business. They said, no problem. So they went to the bank and they said, may we get a loan? We want to open up a business in this neighborhood. And the bank said, you're not opening up a business in our white neighborhood, whatever they called Asians at that time. But guess what? We will give you a loan though, but you have to open up in this neighborhood, Black communities. And that is why to this day, there's so many Asian restaurants, beauty supply stores, nail salons in Black neighborhoods because they gave them loans to open up there. And then the government or power who be said, we are going to call them the model minority because look how hardworking they are. Not only are they hardworking, they own businesses in neighborhoods where lazy, blah, 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 Black people don't have themselves. And you guys brought into it. Well, your great granddaddy did. And what they left out was, but we gave you loans to do that where we wouldn't give them to the Black people who live in that neighborhood. And that is why you own businesses when they don't. It's not that they don't want to work. It's not that they didn't want to open up their own shops. It's that they couldn't get the loan to do so, whereas you did. And when you didn't get it from the bank, you went to your own country and got loans as well, which, we were kind of stolen. We don't have that kind of connection back at home anymore. So we were out. So that is how you got to believe you were better than everybody else. Not true. You had a leg up. And that just trickles down. And why is that, matter today? Because your granddaddy believed it, told your granddaddy, who told your granddaddy, who told Rick Chow, who told Andy, who chased Cyrus out of that convenience store after he stood there and calmly was accused of stealing and told them no 2 times and then just walked out. And Andy chased him, knowing he didn't steal anything, not knowing there was a gun on him, chased him for the length of a football field plus, and then unalive that boy. Child, 14-year-old. All because of what happened when this country was set up. And why is this relevant? Now I'm talking to my Black people again with the Asians and all our allies, because re-education is also needed. If you want to boycott, let's boycott. You see my hair, it's natural, it's 4C. I don't care. I can braid it myself. I can drive an extra 30 minutes to go get the hair from a Black-owned shop. That is not a problem. However, education is important. And I used this illustration before on another video. In the game of chess, the Black pieces and the white pieces are enemies. But the people moving the pieces, they are generally friends. When we are done destroying each other on this board, they're going to shake hands, congratulate each other, and go open a cold beer on the golf course. We are fighting against each other, not checking who's pulling the strings. And that is why my history lesson is important. Asians, you've been brainwashed. Black people, we've been erased from our history. And in addition to whatever boycotts we are going to do, we also need to do education, because if this hate and this fear has been passed down generations, we can start undoing it for the generations to come.
Saw a woman recently saying that we should boycott Asian businesses because she said that Black people can't win when Asians own all of the businesses and that we had it easier coming to this country. As an Asian whose grandparents immigrated to this country and as a business owner, let me dissect this. Complete bullshit. Have you never heard of P-bashing before? Have you not heard about the 16-hour shifts that our grandparents did in the mills here up north? Those people worked endlessly. 12 hours, 16-hour shifts in mills, getting their hands all mangled up in machines just to get by, or working as toilet cleaners and just to survive. They didn't have it easier. They were disciplined and sacrificed everything. Just to make it clear, I want to bring communities together. I'm not here to divide communities. I just want to point out exactly how the Asian community built some wealth. And don't say we had it easier, because even in 2025, just in September, a Sikh woman was raped and told go back to her own country. Don't talk about easier when we get that kind of treatment in 2025. The reason why our grandparents did better is because they saved every measly penny they could get to invest it in long-term assets, houses, gold, businesses. You call that privilege? They were patient and willing to live in the shit for the hope of a better future. Tell that to our ancestors who crammed into tiny houses, 5 different families, sharing food so that they could save up money to buy their own homes eventually. Instead of enjoying their lives, they lived in the shit just to get by. That's not easier. They paid the price for it. And they didn't buy nice clothes, they drove shit cars, they spent nothing. And then their children now own and inherit these homes, and then they can put them up as rent and generate cash flow from it, giving the next generation a leg up essentially. And that's the way that wealth accumulation works. Each generation creates assets or purchases assets to then pass on to the next generation, so they have a little leg up, and then their kids benefit from that. Even now, I mean, I can afford where I live very comfortably, but my dad says to me all the time, Jamil, you should come home, come live at home, because that is their literal wealth building tactic. Stay home, live below your means, and save money. And let's get one thing straight. Yeah, we run a lot of businesses, but don't blame us for taking the risk of starting them. Don't blame Asians for filling that spot for a corner shop. Anyone could have bought it. You could have started that business. Our ancestors pooled resources for the community together so that the community could win. Instead of hating online, why don't you speak to those Asian owners and learn how they did it instead? I don't come from a rich family, and that's the exact reason I'm a business owner. I've got a biomedical science degree and I can work in a hospital, but I know that if I want my kids to have a better life, then I need to build some wealth, and I'm not going to do that sat working for other people. Me and my brother are the classic example of 2 people coming together, pooling resources and building a business and succeeding with it. And that's one thing that I actually miss about the older generation. Back in the 80s and 90s, Asians had a community like glue. They worked together. They weren't selfish. They built something so that their kids could live better lives. And I'm disappointed, honestly, because historically, colored people have always come together and had each other's backs. And we've always unified in the past. I mean, historically in the Caribbean, Indian migrants literally shared culture with the people who live there. That's literally where curry goat comes from. You need to take some accountability and learn about sacrifice and stop blaming the world, essentially, because that's what our grandparents did. That's all they did to accumulate wealth. They were bashed in the streets and still sacrificed so that their children don't have to suffer the same way.
So really, this whole issue is getting serious by the day, and it's interesting because this whole Asian boycott has revealed the level of ignorance that is spread across boards, how informed we are, and most of the people who are pushing debates, arguments here on the left, both on the side of the black community, with all due respect, and the Asian community, many people are not really informed. Many people are working with what they assumed or what they were told. And so there are no hardcore statistical evidence to back up some of these arguments. To establish a business without Asian connection is not that easy, especially when you are coming into an industry that's been dominated by a particular ethnic group. You're looking at demand and supply. You are looking at, the command of chain and all that stuff. And to take over it overnight is not going to be a child's play. We need to stipulate that. And also, the Asians are coming out and saying, when we say Asians, many times we bring in the Chinese, we bring in the Koreans, we bring in all this race into that, clan, but some of these guys are saying we didn't have life easy. Our parents didn't have life easy. When we came to the Americans, things were not handed down to us on a platter of gold. We fought for what we had. We worked for what we had. We had a consciousness of transgenerational wealth, and we handed wealth from one family to another. And I think that is what the black community, on the other hand, is also trying to build. The black community is also trying to establish that order. They just want to go out beyond just being consumers of goods to becoming manufacturers, suppliers, and also, owners of these businesses that they have patronized over the years. And I don't see anything wrong with that desire. I actually applaud that, that effort. But I think that things like this need to be approached systematically and approached with some great level of discernment and wisdom, so that at the end of the day, we have an equilibrium or a balance. All credit to original content creators. If you're coming across my YouTube channel and you like what we just put up, Please hit the notification button, hit the subscription button to be notified. All credit to original content creators. For returning subscribers, thank you guys. You are the reason what we do. So I want to know what your thoughts, your opinion in the comment section, because your opinion really matters. See you on my next video.